for a more in-depth analysis of the female figures in the wasteland. Here's an extended answer for question number 7, focusing on the various women and their contributions to the poem's themes, aiming for approximately 500 words with proper quotations. 7. Explore the various female figures, e.g., Marie, Madame Sosostris, the typist, the Thames-daughters, in the wasteland. What do they represent, and how do they contribute to the poem's themes? The female figures in T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland are a crucial element in depicting the poem's overarching theme of spiritual and cultural sterility. Far from being passive characters, they embody different facets of the modern world's decay, representing corrupted or debased forms of traditional feminine roles, mother, lover, oracle, muse, and collectively illustrate the inability of love, fertility, and meaning to thrive in a barren landscape. Eliot strategically employs them to highlight a crisis of authenticity, connection, and spiritual vitality. The first female voice we encounter is Marie, in The Burial of the Dead. She offers a glimpse into a fractured European past, recalling a seemingly innocent childhood memory. I was not afraid. I read, much of the night, and go south in the winter. Her reminiscence of a sleigh ride and a moment of apparent clarity, Bin gar keine Russin, stamm aus Litauen, echt Deutsch, suggests a fragmented identity reflecting the shattered geopolitical landscape of post-war Europe. While her memory evokes a sense of nostalgia, it remains isolated and devoid of genuine connection or spiritual significance, hinting at the inaccessible past rather than a present solace. She represents a fading aristocratic memory, disconnected from the suffering that permeates the modern setting. Next, Madame Sosostris, the famous clairvoyante, embodies the degradation of spiritual insight and prophecy into commercialized entertainment. Her card reading offers a superficial, distorted version of ancient wisdom. She possesses a wicked pack of cards, but her vision is limited and mundane. Here is Belladonna, the Lady of the Rocks, the Lady of Situations. Her warning, fear death by water, becomes a recurring motif, yet her delivery is devoid of true spiritual power, underscoring the spiritual bankruptcy of an age that turns sacred rituals into parlor tricks. She signifies the false or trivial forms of guidance people seek in a world lacking genuine spiritual leadership. A game of chess introduces two contrasting, yet equally sterile female figures. The unnamed wealthy lady represents a neurotic, self-absorbed aristocracy, whose luxurious setting cannot mask her emotional emptiness. Her anxious questions, "What shall I do now? What shall I do?" and her descent into a drug-induced stupor highlight a pervasive spiritual paralysis. She cannot escape her opulent prison, embodying a form of the death in life that afflicts the privileged. In stark contrast, the pub scene features working-class women engaged in a coarse, gossipy conversation about Lil and Albert. Lil's physical deterioration from having too many children, and Albert's threat of leaving her if she doesn't brighten her up, paints a bleak picture of procreation, devoid of love or health. This brutal realism underscores the reproductive and emotional sterility prevalent across social classes. The Fire Sermon features the most poignant example of modern sexual and emotional desolation in the typist and her lover, the young man carbuncular. Their encounter is described as mechanical and devoid of passion. She smooths her hair with automatic hand and puts a record on the gramophone. The narrator, Tiresias, observes this loveless act, emphasizing its repetitiveness and lack of meaning. The typist's subsequent thought, "Well, now that's done, and I'm glad it's over," encapsulates the transactional and unfulfilling nature of modern relationships. This portrayal is a powerful indictment of a society where intimacy has been reduced to a mundane chore, stripping human connection of its transcendent potential. Finally, the Thames-daughters give voice to a sense of lament and violation. Their individual narratives recount casual sexual encounters, often in indifferent or degrading circumstances. On Margate Sands, /I can connect, /nothing with nothing. Their fragmented confessions, interspersed with the refrain, trams and dusty trees, Highbury bore me. Richmond and Kew undid me, symbolize the defilement of nature and humanity by urban sprawl and industrialized indifference. The river, historically a symbol of life and fertility, is now a repository for the waste and moral pollution of the city. These women, like ancient river goddesses lamenting their sacred waters, bear witness to the profound loss of purity and meaning in the modern world. In summary, Eliot's female characters are not merely passive recipients of the wasteland's despair, they are active embodiments of its various forms. From Marie's detached nostalgia to the typist's hollow intimacy and the Thames-daughters' lament, they collectively illustrate the breakdown of love, family, spirituality, and authentic human connection. Through them, Eliot powerfully critiques the inability of the modern individual to find genuine fulfillment or regeneration in a world stripped of its spiritual roots.